authors. Any content provided by our bloggers or authors are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, municipality, individual, or anyone or anything.
He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. Welcome to Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Today's date is August the 18th, the year of our Lord, 2022. Yeah. We have Jeremy here. Say hello, Jeremy.
How you doing,
Jeremy's our sidekick, and we are pundits. Among many pundits.
We're pundits.
We're pundits.
We pund.
We pun. We are a radio, video podcast, medical, political, radio,
Big mixed
TV
bag.
show,
Big
right?
mixed bag,
Big
right?
mix. We're a video podcast. Anyway,
when we run out of ideas of what we are, then we'll let you know.
So we've been doing this for several years now. I want to make a disclaimer right now. We do not advocate any violence.
No violence.
We are all about, we're Christian based.
Yes.
We believe in peaceful voting and peaceful what do you call it? Protest,
right?
But no violence. No violence. So we want to get that out of the way.
Because the word protest has now gotten that violent stigma.
Well, we got to put that out. Unfortunately, we got to put out. So we have a lot of things we want to talk about today. I think what we're going to first do. So we're going to go to our famous whiteboard. Here's our whiteboard.
Oh.
And for the people on the podcast, you guys are going to have to come up to the YouTube or Rumble or Facebook. And that's Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. And look at this. So we have on the board.
I mean, we're going to read them out.
Right. We got the fan going there, so it's a little bit funny there, Jeremy.
No,
but
it's all right.
I don't know if you want to show. But it's good.
fine.
It's good. It's good. So you know what? Let me hang on one second, Jeremy. Just do me a favor. Read that, and I'm going to just shut the fan off real quick.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It says executive branch.
Go ahead.
EPA up and down. FBI,
Right,
CIA, military,
Right.
Judicial branch,
And right. So
who is sovereign?
Right. So let's go here. So we have this. You have the federal government is been formulated by our founding fathers, and you have three branches of government. People don't understand this. You have three branches. Jeremy, what are you doing there? You're killing us. So you have three branches. We're really tough today. We're having technical difficulty. This is a live show, and this is what happens with a live show. So you have the executive branch, and the executive branch is the President of the United States, but also, Jeremy, in the executive branch, you have the EPA, you have the FBI, the CIA, the military, the Department of Justice, the Department of Labor, the Treasury Department, and a million other entities that are under the executive branch. And that means that, and the CEO of that executive branch is the President of the United States.
And there's we got the lunch ladies at the White House as well.
Right, the lunch lady. Yeah. Now, the other branch of government that we have below that is the judicial branch. This is the chief justices.
Yeah.
Okay? I believe there's 9 of them. Most of the time there's 9 of them. And that's another branch. And what do they do? And then we get the legislative branch. So the legislative branch is the Congress and the Senate. Now, these three entities were formulated by the founding fathers. Also, what people don't realize is that we also have 50 states, okay? And states have their own executive branch, judicial branch, and legislative branch. Now, I don't want to glass you over because I can see, I don't want to bore people.
I'm starting to go.
Right. So here's the deal. What's going on, and this is how it's structured. What does each one of these do? The legislative branch is supposed to make law. Okay, the Congress and Senate are set up to make law. They're also set up to be a watchdog for the other branches, specifically the executive branch.
Right.
So they're supposed to balance out the executive branch, which is the president and all of the entities below him or her. The judicial branch, now this is, right now we're controversial about it, but the judicial branch supposedly looks at the law that the legislative branch has made, and they should determine whether or not it fits into the constitutional, whether it's constitutional.
Right.
They weren't invented to make law. You understand?
Right.
They weren't. The only ones who's supposed to make law is the legislative branch, Congress and the Senate. And over the years, it's been alleged that the judicial branch were trying to make law. So that's one thing so the judicial branch should just what his founding fathers were articulated, and the purpose was to decide whether or not a law that was passed by the Congress and the executive branch is constitutional, fits into the constitutional framework. You follow me so far?
Gotcha.
Now, the executive branch, what do they do? The executive branch supposedly should follow and take care of the law, apply the law, not make the law. Now, this is important. This is where this country has fallen into a real problem. The executive branch, say the EPA.
Right.
The EPA should be watching for the pollution and the environment, but they should not be making law. That's not the executive branch's job. The ones who should make law about, say, environment is the Congress and Senate. So what's going on with all of this fighting and craziness in the government right now? Well, back in the day when George Bush and Cheney, right, the name Cheney, that we just talked about Cheney, she got her butt beaten. So back in the day, her dad, Cheney, Vice President Cheney, and Bush, when they were president and vice president, beefed up the executive branch. They took power away from the Congress. They took power away from the Congress and pushed it towards the executive branch.
Right.
So what they did is, now they were running the executive branch, and what they did is they took the power of the Congress to make laws, and they manipulated it where the EPA can make regulations, basically laws, the CIA, the FBI, but more like the NSC, right? Mm-hmm. And the CDC. All of these entities started doing their own thing. Now, the people who work in the CDC and the FBI and the military and the Department of Labor and Department of Education, these are non-elective individuals. You understand?
Yeah.
And a lot of them are there for years and years and years. They're career politicians, basically, career. And you may say, well, that's good because they're really good and they're really knowledgeable. But the argument now is that they're overstepping what the founding fathers wanted to have. They just had a ruling with the Supreme Court justice, and they had a bunch of them, but one was Roe Wade, and they sent it back to the states.
Yeah.
The other one was the EPA versus Virginia. And the justices said the EPA does not have the right to make laws. They were trying to strong arm Virginia with regard to their pollution standards. And they said, no, the ones who need to do it are the Congress and the Senate. You follow where the battle is? Now, you got a thing like Liz Cheney, and I don't know what her politics, what she hates Trump and all that, but she, I guarantee, believes in this executive state, the non-elected executive state under the executive branch, this administrative state. And the administrative state, a lot of people believe, is the way to go. They know best, and they're going to tell us what to do. But to me, that's not the way it should be. And I think you're seeing a battle now between the judicial, which is a conservative. Now, follow me on this. It's conservative. What's the word I want to use? Conservative, constitutional entity, and they're going to push things back from the executive branch back to either the states or back to Congress to make laws. That's an important thing, Jeremy. And you look at this Liz Cheney and these other people, why they're banging and fighting against Trump so much, in my opinion.
Right.
This is a bigger picture here, is that they're the administrative state and they're pushing back. That's why the FBI, CIA, the military, I think a lot of people went after Trump because I watch everything. I'm like, why are they trying to persecute and assassinate this guy?
Yeah.
Is that bad? I mean, if you agree he's a crook, okay. So is Biden. So is Clinton. I mean, they're all
crooks.
I mean, I've been watching this stuff for years and years. I don't see how. But what I do see is that he went against the administrative state. Yeah. And now you got the chief justices, going after the administrative state also. The states now are involved. Now, you think about it. When Trump lost the election, there was 23 states that petitioned the Supreme Court, and they got pushed back. But there's 23, maybe more states that are more in line with taking the power back, not only out of the executive branch, but out of the federal government to them.
Right.
So you got an interesting thing going on here. I think you have these people who are globalists who want, the United States to be weaned down, to be just part of another group of entities in the world, like the Star Trek, Federation of Star Trek.
Oh, sure.
It's not a bad idea, but I don't think it's going to work. And then you have people who are nationalist populists, who, America first. Let's do everything for this country.
Right.
And you see where the battle is. And I think if you look at what's going on in the politics today.
I like the idea. Listen. I like the idea of a Star Trek world, okay, where there's no money. People work for the sake of, because things are needed. And you get anything you want because you help out. You provide for the rest of the world. I mean, that is what we usually consider a perfect world, right? In a perfect world, I'd be this or I'd be that.
Right.
That would be a perfect world.
Right. And that's why, Jeremy, can you just get rid of the mail and shut everything down? Just go down to the bottom there, just to say quit on the bottom. I'm sorry, guys. Hit that, quit that, and also the notes. It clears up the computer. We and the news. You have no news no to the right. Sorry, guys, we're right there. Yeah. Yeah, you got to do it. We have, in this country, Jeremy, that's called socialism. Yeah, everything sounds good, but we're going to talk about that because I have an article here about socialism. But let's just stay on this topic right now. But this is where the debate is. So I want to make a bigger picture here. What you have right now, I think the biggest threat to this country, to the Western civilization, is not black, white, not all of this, the differences between people. It's our government. And it's not that it's bad. It's that the government, how it's structured right now, is one branch, I think, has too much power than the others. And the Founding Fathers didn't really want that. I think that the executive branch has gone overboard, especially the administrative state. Right. And it's human nature. And I understand the argument. It might be the best way to go. It might, it's people who are really knowledgeable. But when you really get down to it, the power needs to be shared, and it also should be shared with the states. Too much power in one place, concentrated, is not good. Yeah. And I think that's what's happening there. And I think there's a lot of things that are going to come down the pike. Now let's look at this. Here's a nice picture of you, Jeremy. Yeah. Here's our studio. So let's look at this thing here. So you have these branches, right? Yeah. And can you get rid of scrubbing up for a minute?
Sure.
Yeah. And you have these branches. Now, I want to make a point about this, the whole concept here. And I put down here, who is sovereign? The word sovereign means the highest leader. And I'm not talking about overthrowing a government. There's these crazy things, sovereignty, and state and all that. But the idea of the Founding Fathers is that the power is in each individual. You, me, right. We're sovereign. We're the leaders. And this is a government by the people, for the people.
About how it should be.
No, how the Founding Fathers founded it. Yeah,
okay.
The whole idea is that the colonists got together. The Founding Fathers, okay, we're so many states. I think it was 13 states. We're going to give the states power to run us, to run over us, to make sure the roads are done, commerce. And then after the Revolutionary War, they formed the federal government to oversee all the colonies. You understand? Mm-hmm. So, but it all comes from the individual to give sovereign. We're citizens. There's 190 countries in this world. Very few people are citizens. People are slaves. People are servants. Some people, but the idea of a citizen is very unique to the United States. It started in Rome. And what a citizen is that is very important. And if anybody wants to read a great book that just came out by Victor Davis Hanson, it's called The Dying Citizen. And he talks about how that's being eroded. So what we are right now is a whole different thing. But we are sovereign. We give the government all of these powers. Right now, I think there's a battle going between the judicial branch is going after the executive, and this is all normal and should be happening. And that a lot of power was taken away from the Congress. Now, why did it get taken from the Congress? I think the Congress probably had too much power, right?
Right.
And I remember Cheney, remember Reagan with the Contra affair.
Yeah.
So they were getting their nuts busted by the Congress. They wanted things done, and so when Bush got in, because remember, I think Bush was Reagan's vice president. Well, when those guys got in there, the Bushes, they're like, you know what, bullshit. We're going to take the power away as much as we can from the Congress and put it into the executive branch. The only thing is, what happened was that Cheney and Bush, lost, and then Hillary came in. Well, Hillary was going to come in, but then Barack Obama came in. Now, I don't know, if he kept on, I think he didn't want to give up the power. Nobody's going to give up.
Nobody's going to give up power.
They didn't. And so he took the power of those entities, FBI, CIA, and EPA, and worked for his own agenda. Now you have Biden in there and his group, and they're doing the same thing. So what's going to happen going forward? I think you're going to see a pushback. And I think it's natural, and it's probably going to happen, that you're going to have the judicial branch and the executive branch come in and start, and the Congress and Senate, and start to maybe shift more power back. That's just the way I see it. I'm not an expert in all of this, but to me, I think this is something that's going on here. And some people say, no, we just need to have this one thing run our state or our country. And you got to remember, the states also, there's a 9th Amendment and 10th Amendment, and people should look that up. But the 9th Amendment and 10th Amendment, 9th Amendment says something like this, Jeremy. If there's nothing in the Constitution that gives you a specific right, you got that right anyway. They actually put that in there. So in other words, you can't say, oh, it's not in the Constitution, so you don't have that right.
Right.
Like, it might not say in the Constitution, you have a right to wear any type of hat you want.
Yeah.
But the 9th Amendment says it doesn't matter. If it's not in the Constitution, you got the right anyway. Or the state has the right. And the 10th Amendment kicks back to the states. So I just want people to understand that this is not just one big government. The federal government has different branches, and the states have their own autonomy between states. Okay? So it's a very complicated thing, and you see this working right now. I think that you're going to see states, I don't want to say rebel, but they're going to want their power back. They want power. They want their sovereignty back. And that's going to, and also people who are in those states are going to say, okay, we want our sovereignty back to the state. Anyway, I think it's an interesting concept, right? So I don't know what you think about that. And on that regard, I want to shift something here. So go to this is something interesting. I'll premise this first. So saying that, the Founding Fathers have a thing called Electoral College, right? Mm-hmm. And now people are saying, well, we don't like this whole thing. We think that we should have a popular vote for the President of the United States, right? Right. So and what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a
as a common man, well, you think we should have we have the Electoral College, okay?
Right.
So let's stop for a minute. Let's just say right now we're gonna invent this. We're founding fathers right now. You're a founding father.
Oh.
And we have to elect a president of the United States. Okay?
Yeah.
Now remember, you have the executive branch, you have the Congress, and you have the judicial. Mm-hmm. How would you elect a president of the United States? Give me some ways that you could elect it.
Oh, well, I like the idea of a popular vote. Bring, the people what they want.
Okay.
And that's how it.
Okay.
If everything else about our government is voicing, to the people, for the people, whatever for the people, then I think that maybe the people should have more of a choice, and their votes counting more. They know, because it's a popular vote. It's not going to go into the and I know the voting and all that is supposed to balance out states. I get that. But I think for the United States, voting in a president that's going to govern over all of us, I think I don't think it should be a state thing. I think it should be a countrywide thing, a popular vote countrywide.
Okay, so let me tell you why the founding what they thought about and why they didn't do it that way.
I feel like I've just been set up. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
you have been. Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the deal.
All right.
First of all, if I'm right now, if you had a popular vote, New York and California probably could vote the president every time. So every other, maybe one other state. So you could have basically 3 states, and they could be whoever, Republican or Democrat, and all other states will never have a say in the president of the United States. All of those people will be disenfranchised. They will not have a voice, because right now you could have, if you have a state like California and a state like New York, there's millions and millions of people, or one more state, the little states would never have full representation. You have this argument now in California. People say our state is so big and we only have 2 Senate seats, where like a little state like New Hampshire has 2 Senate seats. But you got to understand, the Founding Fathers did this, so it's the best way to have equity. They also thought about having the President of the United States be voted by the Congress. But if the Congress voted the president in, okay, then the president will be beholden to the Congress, especially if he has 2 terms. And they thought about having like a panel of people, educated,
Right.
well-informed people. But then, they could be corrupt. So my point is that right now, you come up, it sounds nice about popular vote, but you have 50 states. If you just had one big country and you didn't have.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that we're going to disregard.
Well, you can't do that. Then the states will. Then what'll happen is what?
Listen. Any of these questions that you ever ask me, okay?
Right.
It all is going to. I mean, any answer you give is going to require change for people to.
No. What'll happen is. I tell you what. It's like a chess move. Here's what will exactly happen.
Right.
You will have a time where 3 states will vote for the president of the United States every time. That means 30 states will not have a say in who the president is ever. And if I live in one of those states, I'm going to be like, I'm out of here. They're going to say we're not going to stay in the United States anymore.
Right.
We're gonna secede. We want our own country. We want to vote for our own president. So think about that. That's going to happen. That's not an if. That's not a. It's definitely, and it's just a matter of when.
What if it is done this way? Okay, and this is me just moving into a more technological world that we are living in, and we're going further into. So every one of us carries one of these things around, right?
Right.
And they've gotten to the point where they are. I mean, you can get your credit cards on here and just tap your phone on a register, and then boom, you've just paid for everything.
Right. I'm listening again.
Now, if that's the case, if this is also my wallet as well,
right,
and they are digital wallets,
yeah.
What about my other information? My voter's registration card, my
what's your point? What are you getting? What are you getting to? I don't understand.
My point is that we could all just thumb press, boom, and most of these things have thumb technology.
But what's your point, though? I don't
understand
understand what your point is. So what are you getting at?
Well, a very good way of voting.
That's not what I asked you, but that's just a matter.
No. Hold on a second. Stop disregarding what I'm saying. If you're going to ask me a question.
Yeah, that's the mechanics of voting.
I know. I'm just saying for the people.
Right.
All right. It's all got to start somewhere, Mike. Doesn't it? I mean, you get an idea, and then you try to put it into place, and then you need all these other people to like it.
Yeah, but that's not the point. That's not the question I asked.
The question, well, no, because I'm looking what's going to work for us, and I think making sure that every person's vote means something to them. That used to be a thing. They would tell us.
Yeah,
in
but that's a
school.
different. That's not what I'm asking you. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I understand. That's a mechanism of voting, and that's not my
No,
question.
but that
Let's
changes
assume.
it though. But you have to.
Why
you
does
have
it
to-
change it? Why?
Because it takes it out of the states.
No,
Now it's
you-
all of
no.
these people walking around. They
No,
all have a
but
phone.
Jeremy.
It's not like
Jeremy,
three
no.
states changing the world. It's
No,
everybody changing the world.
Listen. We should have talked to this before. You're missing the
should have
concept.
talked about this
You're
before.
missing the concept, and this is why there's a problem in this country. Because this is good because you're the general, and you do not understand. I don't mean bust your balls, but you have no idea. You don't understand the intellectual concept here. Think about it. The states are. You can't just get rid of the states. You want to get rid of the states, then you get rid of the electoral college. That's one way to do it. States are sovereign. We just had this whole discussion. Mm-hmm. You got a little state, New Hampshire. You got a little state, Maryland, wherever. They want to have their representation equal, even though they're small. This is how the founding fathers did it. Okay? For them to be involved and send money to the federal government and to be involved in this giant experiment, right? They want to know and they want to be able to pick and have an equal pick on who the president of the United States is, because it's consequential for them if they can't, because they could lose money, they could lose funding, they could lose whatever.
And who are these people?
Each individual state.
Oh,
States are represented by people. So
Yeah.
you get a group of people who vote in New Hampshire. They're not going to want to not have the electoral college. When you had the states voting for the electoral college, there was 2 states that didn't want it, and when they were slave states, okay? But you missing the point. If it doesn't matter if everybody votes, if we had a system that's bulletproof and everybody instantaneously voted, every person on the United States, you could still have 3 or 4 states that are going to decide who the president of the United States is. It's getting that way even with the electoral college. Okay?
Right.
But let me just put this out. I just want to make sure that you understand what the electoral college goes. This is
No,
good.
I understand. You were talking about states. I was talking about people. But
No, but states are people. People are in the states.
No, they live in the states.
But they
The
represent the states.
No. States aren't people. States are
No.
not people. I'm
People,
sorry.
the people who live in New Jersey
No.
are a citizen of New Jersey, not a citizen of Pennsylvania. Now, you want to blur it and say that it doesn't matter.
And there you go, talking about states again. I wasn't talking about states. You asked me about
The
how
electoral
do we change
college.
things.
But the electoral college. My point was the electoral college. If we got rid of it, why is it there? First of all, if you look at the history, you could read John Yoo. He wrote a book called Defender in Chief. He got a whole chapter on why and why the electoral college was voted in the way it is. They discussed it for years. From the day of the declared Revolutionary War in 1776 until we became a country.
Yeah, life's different now.
No, nothing's different.
No,
It's
of
the
course
same.
it is.
Why?
Between then and now,
What's different?
everything.
No, wait,
Technology,
stop.
people, points of view.
People are.
What do you call it? Politics are different. What Democrats believed back then aren't what they believe today.
No, you're wrong there. And there's another.
I'm wrong
Yeah,
there?
you're
I
wrong.
don't-
You're
I don't
absolutely.
see
I
that.
totally disagree.
I don't see
Human
it.
nature has not changed. We still rape, murder, kill. We're still greedy. We're still sinners. Nothing's changed. Technology's changed, but that's it. So, but this is good because you're the general
No,
person.
because
but
technology gives normal, regular people opportunities that they did not have before. So the people that would
Right.
rape, kill,
Right.
murder, steal, all of that, now that they have a better opportunity to do it, the people that normally wouldn't have are saying, hey, maybe I can get away with this.
So-
times have changed, Mike. It's not the same way anymore. And the way we think is not the same way. And you can see it on the news. Everybody running around with guns. Why? Because it's easier to do it now.
no. Well, first of all, let's stay with our topic. See, electoral college, and I want to counterpoint you. If you get rid of the states are, we have 50 states in this country. It's not like nobody gives a shit about it. States have their own rules, regs, licensures. They have their own state. You can't do certain things in certain states. You're not in New Jersey. You cannot carry. Well, now it's going to change. But say you can't carry a gun, concealed weapon. But in Florida, you can.
Laws are different from back then.
No,
I
but
mean,
laws
everything
laws
is-
are different from different states right now. There's night and day with regard to laws in different states.
Yeah,
It's
but
always been like
that's
that.
what I'm saying.
No.
We can't compare it to back
But
then.
no,
though.
that's not. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're missing the point. The Electoral College makes it fair. It gives every state equal opportunity to vote a president in, because of the population of each state. You understand? Not every state has the same population.
Right.
So if you voted on the popular vote, not popular means who wants what. It's how many people. You understand?
Popular.
There's going to be states, most of the states, the small states, are going to be overridden by the big states. And those states are going to say it's not fair. We're not getting representative. How do you fix that then? How do you make whole the states that don't want that president?
You mean the people running the states, not
Yeah.
the states.
Yeah, the states are people.
they're
No,
not people.
whoa, slow down. Sovereign, this is why you don't understand, where you're dead wrong. This is where you're dead wrong.
All right.
So listen, in this country, the founding fathers made it where you and I are sovereign. Under God, we are the ones who run the country. We have the power. It's our country. We the people. Okay? That's what the founding fathers. Now, if you don't agree with that, that's what it was. Not a state, not a government, not a federal government. The founding fathers, the Revolutionary War, those people said, we're running this country. We're going to an experiment. It's the people, for the people, of the people, right? Mm-hmm. To run the country, to do what we want, to have our life. Now, what we do is we give to the states, to the counties, to the states, we let them borrow our power. We give the officials, the governor, the legislation, the judicial branch of New Jersey, let's say,
Right.
the power, and we let them run and tell us, how to run the country, how to run the state. And then the states, in effect, tell the federal government. The federal government was invented by the states. The Constitution, they developed this entity. And it goes, and they were very careful to balance the states' rights against other states' rights and the states' rights against the federal government. It's a balancing act. And it's a very delicate, complicated balancing act. Okay? And it's been going pretty good for 200 and how many years? We have the most successful country in the world, the most powerful country in the world, the most richest people in the world, the most sovereign, most civil rights, best. I mean, nowhere in the country do you have the rights to exist as you do in the United States. That's by design. Okay? When you talk about the Electoral College, you're talking about severely putting a kibosh on that balance. The states will lose the power, and the states, I predict, will rebel when they don't have the ability to elect a president who they think. Right now,
You mean the people in the states?
Yeah, the states. When I say states, I'm talking about the people in the states.
That's a difference.
But the states are sovereign. Don't you understand? I don't know. I don't
know, because see, you're standing on a platform that was built by these documents that say "we the people" and all of that.
Well, you want to get rid of them?
No.
Second
but
Amendment.
You want to talk about
Whoa! Slow down, because this is very serious. What you're talking about.
Yeah.
And because this is serious shit. You're saying that the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. What about the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment when they freed the slaves? That was 100 years ago, 150 years ago.
Yeah.
That doesn't apply anymore. It's different.
Well, no. I mean,
We're going to bring the slaves back?
That should have been an inalienable human right from the start.
Okay, listen. Then do you have sovereign rights?
And if they are
okay.
God-given rights,
Okay.
God should have
Okay,
provided
so
for
let me
the
ask you
slaves.
this. Are you sovereign? Do you believe in the idea that you are the most sovereign, the leader in this country? You don't think you are?
No, I don't.
You don't think you're sovereign?
No.
You think that somebody should be able to take...
Because you just got done telling me about all these people that were, they're wealthy and they're powerful. I'm none of those people. I am not.
And you have the same
sovereign.
vote each one of them have.
I
Yes,
don't have
you
the
are.
same vote.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes,
with
you do.
Dominion machines and all these trickeries.
Forget about that. Forget about...
You
No.
can't, though. How can you're talking about it.
I'm talking about
world.
ideal, but you can't...
An ideal, perfect world. That's what you're talking about. I can't answer that question because we don't live in it.
We never did.
We
But there's an
never did.
ideal, but we should be going towards that.
We should.
Idea of the
all
found...
your shoulds, I
Right,
agree
right.
with you
Well,
on.
if you get rid of the Electoral College, you're going to get rid of more...
Yeah.
You'll lose more of your
I'm
power.
just saying, I have shoulds too, and you're telling me I'm wrong.
So if you live in a... No, I'm saying you're sovereign, and you're saying you're not.
I'm not, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I think if you were sovereign, you'd feel it and you'd know it. I think your votes would have counted.
Does
more.
anybody put a boot on your neck right now? Does anybody beat you up when you go home? Does
Are there others out there that do? Yes.
Yeah, but it's not.
And they do live in this country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, well, I don't want to listen.
Freedom of speech, for instance, has been worn down on that document we were just talking about to wafer thin.
Okay, listen.
And they don't even mean anything to
Right,
us
right.
when we're
But
broadcasting.
here's the thing, Jeremy. Here's the thing. So we're getting off in a big time. There's corruption. The Constitution has been weaned down. I understand that. That's not my point. My point is that there's people calling to get rid of the Electoral College, and I asked you and I set you up and like, oh yeah, it sounds good. Popular vote. The Greeks did popular vote. Here's the thing. If you have a 51% vote, that's not this government. We're not a democracy per se. We are a constitutional republic. We lend this is the concept of our whole Constitution. We lend our sovereignty, our power to the states and the federal government, which are different entities, okay?
Whatever our sovereignty is.
God, if you look at the Constitution and read the Federalist Papers, okay?
Yes.
It'll say right in there that the Founding Fathers' idea is that human beings under God have sovereignty. There's nobody should be able to tell you they can't take your life away from you. They can't take your property away from you. They can't. So life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Yeah. There's places in the world that you don't have that.
But how many people in this world are getting all those things taken away from them?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. But in the United States,
in this country,
yeah. But it's, I can tell you right now, we're getting eroded, but we still have tremendous.
They find new ways of doing it.
Right. But Jeremy, don't you understand though? That's why you got to fight all the time. That's why you got to vote. People come. That's why we have elections, and you're going to see a big time.
I'm talking to you on this program right now, and I'm fighting.
Right.
I'm fighting what I'm believing in because I see what we don't have.
Right, but that's not the question.
Everything. I know. You gave me a loaded question.
No. I didn't give you a loaded question. I'm trying to make you understand the importance of the Electoral College, and it's good because you represent most of the people out there who don't understand,
who don't feel like they have anything that you've just asked.
Well, if you get rid of, you do though. You have more. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're wrong. You have more power than you realize. If people organize,
for
and
regular
vote,
people, power should feel like the power that the bigger guys have too. I don't have any of that. Most people don't.
Well, no. Listen, we have more power. Let me tell you something. We have more power in this country than the poor Slavs in China.
Where is it then?
You could still go vote. You could listen when midterm elections and they overturn and maybe Trump gets in again. I mean, you could make that happen.
Trump went through a bloodless assassination because the voting was kiboshed.
Go put my my iPad on here. I want to show you something.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you right now, Jeremy, if you represent most of the people,
but this is a great debate.
If you represent most of the people, this country's doomed in the fact that you're giving up. What you're doing is giving up. You're giving up. You just said I'm not sovereign. You just said I'm not sovereign. So you don't feel that way, but you are sovereign.
No.
Okay.
No, I was saying I don't feel sovereign.
Well, you are though. I'm telling you right now.
Well, I mean that's great on a piece of paper, but it doesn't do most of us any good.
Listen, on a piece of paper, the Constitution is a piece of paper. The Bill of Rights is a piece of paper. It's backed by law. You know what's backed by? 400,000 people who are buried in Arlington National Cemetery.
Dude,
it's backed by. Okay, so listen to this article here. So most Americans support using a popular vote and not electoral college vote to select the president, according to data from the Pew Research Center. So I just want to go down here. This is also age divided. A lot of young people think this is a great article here. This article is out of NPR. Most Americans support using a popular vote to decide U.S. presidents. Now, NPR to me is so damn to the left. They want socialism in this country. If you get rid of the Electoral College, you will have the states rebel. I'm just going to tell you. I'm making that assumption. There have been 5 presidents who won the electoral vote, but not the popular vote. John Quincy Adams, Rutherford B. Hayes, Benjamin Harrison, George W. Bush, and Donald Trump. The country's still been going fine. Okay, here. Listen to this. This is interesting.
Did you just say the country's still going on fine?
It's been. Listen, we have big trouble, but things are going to wash out. Watch.
They got Donald Trump out. And
He's going to get back in. You have to look at 10 years, 7 years.
I'm looking at the lives that were lost while this new president who wrongfully
Right.
got
But
in.
let's finish this. I know where you get. We'll get. You can save that. Listen, let me just finish here. There are 538 electors, one for each U.S. senator and U.S. representative. Okay, so you get. See how it works? Plus 3 for Washington, D.C., which gets 3 electoral votes in the presidential election, even though it has no voting representative in Congress. The number of electors has changed through history as the number of elected members of Congress has changed with the country's expansion. Just so you know, too, Congress is picked by the congressmen are based on population of the state. So you do have a state. Now, remember, Jeremy, when you talk about the President of the United States, he's not a king. So you say the popular vote, but you still have Congress. You could vote congressmen in based on your population. So the bigger your state, the more congressmen you get. You only get 2. So it balances out. You have to look at the totality, the whole idea. You know, you don't want to have a president voted by popular vote. You have congressmen, and the Congress goes after the president. So you have chips and balances.
Yeah, I know. I thought your question was about you know, without the bullshit that's all running.
No, go get rid of this. No,
here's. I mean, honestly, if you have a, if you have a, I don't know. I don't agree.
No, let's listen. What I want you to know, what I'm saying is, here's the thing: the Electoral College, historically, okay.
I mean, this is great if everybody that got votes that gets voted in does their job like they should. All these,
Jeremy,
hold on a second. Let me finish my sentences.
Yeah,
please.
get.
The websites that we see all these words written on. It'd be great if everyone believed in it and followed through with these things, but they don't, Mike. They sadly
but Jeremy,
do not.
So if you have a popular vote, that's not going to change that.
No, that was just one idea. You gave me no time to think about it.
What I'm saying is my point. Focus just on the Electoral College, because I want to end this. The Electoral College, people are calling right now. A lot of people in this country want, according to them, they're full of crap, want to get rid of it. I'm trying to explain to you why it was invented to begin with. So the states have fair representation on the executive branch. They have popular vote for the congressmen. Yeah. The congressmen are voted.
If it's followed,
the only one that's voted in with Electoral College is the President of the United States. Do you understand that? Governors are popular vote. Senators are popular vote. Congressmen are popular vote. And they represent the opposing governmental branches. Okay? So in that regard, you do have a pluralistic majority vote. And they're the ones who go after, right? The Congress is and the Senate go after the President of the United States.
Not when the voting system is broken.
That's another argument. That's another debate.
Yeah, but you can't argue that.
No.
And,
I can't.
And not have anybody give you
No, but stop. If it's broke, what are you going to do? Fix it then. You don't get rid of. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So because you're telling me that if the voting system's broke, that's a different argument. I don't want to bring that up. I'm talking about. No, I don't know how to fix it right now. I don't know what the problem is, but my point is you don't get rid of the system of checks and balances in Electoral College because you don't like the outcomes right now.
You asked me a question. I had no time to think about it. I gave you an answer, and you shut me down.
No, I didn't shut you down, but you
did. You told me I was 100% wrong. I think that's shutting me down.
What you're trying to do is my question was why people think that the Electoral College is wrong and should get rid of it.
Because everything's wrong, man.
I know, but you got to have you see. You're getting despondent.
I'm waiting around for it to come.
So what are you
going
to do? Okay, well, how you get it right?
Of course, you got to follow the system that's here, even if it's broken. But let's not pretend it's not broken.
I didn't say that. That's not my point. My point is that the system will bounce back. It's resilient. The founding fathers were brilliant, and I think God had a hand in it. And I understand you guys are a lot of people gave up.
It's a different world than they knew, and I wonder. Going on your thing, I wonder what they would think and what they would create today if they saw
Same
the
thing.
world. I don't know.
No, you know what they would do? I can tell you what they would do. They would rebel. They would probably rebel. They would be like, they would do what they would do. They would go to the ballot box and vote these guys out. They would go and you know what they would be? They would be Trump. They would be Trumpian. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. What's happening in this country is that you have people who want to destroy and break up the great government that we have right now. It's broken. Here's the thing. It's not working real well because I just told you what has happened is human beings in the executive branch took power from Congress, which is the which is the legislative, and you have an imbalance right now. It's going to play out. You've had imbalances over the years, and think about it, Jeremy. We've had conflict in this country before. You had the civil rights conflict. You had the Civil War. You had War of 1812. You had the Revolutionary War. You had Vietnam. We had Korea. We had the nuclear, the Cuban Missile Crisis. We had an assassination of a president. We had an attempted assassination of Reagan. There was another, how many presidents were assassinated? Lincoln was assassinated. This country has been down this road of anarchy and really, on the edge. We're on the edge right now, no doubt about it. But what I'm trying to tell you is that don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't get rid of the electoral college.
I'm not saying that.
I can see your frustration. I know what you're saying.
Even the Constitution has been amended since they wrote it.
Yeah, we can amend it more. Yeah,
well,
that's okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The system is broken. It needs to be fixed. Who fixes it? It's not going to be answered by one question. That's all I'm saying.
And the way to handle that is what's interesting is when you talk about a constitutional amendment, we had one to outlaw alcohol. We had one to outlaw alcohol. It lasted 14 years. 27 states ratified it, and then it was knocked down during the Depression when Franklin Delano Roosevelt, after 14 years, said enough is enough, and the states said fine. It caused more problems than it created. We can go and have constitutional amendments. Listen, the Supreme Court could reverse precedent that they did. The Congress could go back and take laws away, make laws, and take them away. The executive branch could make executive orders, and the next president could take them away. That's the way it's set up, and that's okay. What's happening right now is a lot of people are alleging that, say, the Biden administration is doing unconstitutional things. Same thing Franklin Delano Roosevelt did. It will eventually stream over to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's going to make a decision, and they may knock it down. It may take years, and I understand that people are, oh my God, the country's going down the tubes, but the system is going to work.
We always used to say the country was going down the tubes.
Right. I don't think there's anything.
No. Now it's already down there.
Well, yeah. All right. I could tell you. So let me give you a scenario. Because I want to cheer you up a little bit. Let's just say,
dude, this was just a debate.
No. Let's just say,
but
let's just say, no. But I don't want. I think you're ready to jump off the roof. Let's just say that in November the 22nd, the Republicans take over the House and Senate. In a landslide. Right, and they start investigations, and they go after this and that, and there's no chance then that they're going to have anybody's going to get rid of electoral college. Not going to pack the court, and not going to get rid of the filibuster. Okay, and then you get, say, Trump. I think it's going to be Trump and Hillary running against each other, but that's just my opinion.
That would be wonderful,
right? But let's just say you get DeSantis in there, and then what's going to happen? Where are we going to go after that? What kind of country do we want? And that's going to, and people, I think, still have the ability to vote. I know you feel like there's collusion and things like that.
Oh, well, we both know there was.
Well, but I don't want to get into that because that's But what I'm saying is that don't give up. The mechanism that the founding fathers have in there is very robust. It's pulled us out before, Jeremy. Like we're falling down from the plane, right? You and I, your parachute didn't work, and you grabbed a hold of me, and you're screaming. I'm like, Jeremy, relax. This parachute worked for me 100 times. It's probably going to work. And you said, Mike, are you sure? And the ground is coming up real quick. And I go, Jeremy, if I'm wrong, you ain't going to know it. We'll be all done. But 99.9% chance we're going to pull it out, okay? And so I'm telling you, you're hanging on to me, screaming, and I'm saying, Jeremy, I'm going to pull the cord, and everything's going to be fine. I really think that we're going to pull this out because I think that most people in this country don't want socialism, they don't want communism, and they realize that these crazies on the left, which is in my communist bent, is not the way to go. Anyway, the popular vote. I just want to make a point here is that, and it's good that you said that because most people think what you're thinking. But the states are. I want to just throw that and think about that word sovereign. Let's go back to one other one. Let me get the other one up here. Hang on a second, because I want to talk about this other one here. And this is all good stuff. And I think it's good that we talk about this stuff. Now, this is one where I guess we could, you want to do the socialized one? Let's talk about, this is,
whatever.
yeah, this is a good one here. So this is my point about where we're going in this country here. This is a really great woman here, and her name is Kimberly Stossel. She's written books. She works for the, I think she's an editor, publisher at the Wall Street Journal. I just want to listen to a little bit what she's saying here, okay? We're going to put her up here. Hang on.
Brit. No one is making kids stay at home until they're middle-aged.
Listen to this. This is just a little
The
about
decision to
socialism.
do so is a response to job opportunities, housing policies, poor or misguided education, and rules that allow their parents to continue funding their health care until they are 26 years old. And so we can't just blame youth for not knowing better. It's like Dr. Arns said earlier, they're learning. And they are the product of parenting, of education, of political policy, and of culture. So instead, I think that we have to acknowledge that these shifts and that the subsequent rise in the popularity of socialism are in fact the result of failures of core groups of officials and civic institutions.
Important
And
what she's
tonight,
saying
I'd like
there.
to
See?
make the case that there are 4 in particular that we need to talk about
So listen, this is
and put out
interesting.
there for blame. They are the Democratic Party,
Ooh,
the Republican Party,
ooh.
the media, and our system of education, in particular higher education. Hillsdale, of course, excluded.
That's where she's speaking,
So,
Hilldale. So this is really great.
Let's run through them. Let's look at the Democratic Party.
Can you
Some
make
of
this
its
a little louder,
most
Jeremy?
influential members of which
Let me
have
see here.
adopted an outright socialist agenda.
Here.
Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren,
think it is loud.
Alexandria
Just gotta turn up the-
Ocasio-Cortez. I'm always so
for
proud
the,
when I can say that
headphones.
name. Her entire squad.
Listen,
But it's a lot more broad than just those names. As I point out in the book I just put out, this is the most socialist Congress in the history of this country.
there you go, Jeremy.
Following the 2018 congressional election, some of you may know Nate Silver's 538
See,
blog.
this is my iPad.
And
Just
it
put it up a
pointed
little bit
out
louder.
that in 2010, there were about 1.5 progressives or liberal members of Congress for every blue dog moderate in the House. Right now, post the 2018 election, the progressives currently outweigh the moderates in the party 4-1. And just a quick note I think we should make about terms.
Let me just go. I'm going to go a little
Progressivism-
bit ahead here. I'm going to say it.
and then you get on the Forbes 500. Socialism. You have 3 cows, government takes 2 and gives them to other people on the grounds that that makes things fair. This is pretty much the approach of most of today's progressives in the Democratic Party. They would take the majority of other people's wealth, the majority of other people's earnings, the majority of other people's property to pay for free health care, for free education, for free child care, for free drugs. So please don't be fooled by Bernie Sanders' tortured attempts to make a distinction between democratic socialism and pure socialism.
It's an important point
Socialism has long predated even communism. And in fact, it's always existed in a variety of forms. If you look out there, Marx and Engels in their Communist Manifesto, they actually devoted an entire section to criticizing the forms of socialism that existed at the time that were not pure enough for them. What they didn't like is that have always been socialists who believed in some aspects of the market, who believed in some property rights, who
See?
believed that people should be able to keep a bit of what they make. Those who have attended here the past few days have heard some wonderful explanations of the different models of socialism around the world. And so let's be clear, what progressives are advocating today is just another version of socialism. It'd be a US version, sure, but it's still socialism. It's a version in which some markets would actually be allowed to exist, in which some Americans and corporations and wealthier people would be allowed to keep some of what they earn, but they would, to be clear, by and large, be working for the benefit of everyone else.
You say, what's wrong with that,
That is
right?
socialism. And the only reason the adherents to this philosophy do not use that word openly, beyond Bernie Sanders, is because they know that it remains a detestable idea for most Americans. So instead, we get the word progressivism. Or we hear Elizabeth Warren actually say with a straight face that she is a capitalist.
Yeah, right.
She can say what she wants. Progressivism is socialism. So the bigger question is, why have so many in the Democratic Party moved left so quickly? Younger people in this country who are adopting socialism at least have the excuse of being ignorant of history. They are seemingly unaware that if we in this room had $1 for every time socialism was successful, we'd have $0.
What do you think about that,
Of course,
Jeremy?
what's more notable is that even if socialism did work, we'd all have $0 too.
Yeah, even if it did work, we'd have nothing because they take it away from you.
They're also, unfortunately, seemingly unaware, and more importantly, of the extraordinary cruelty and devastation that purer forms of socialism have wrought. Socialism has, over hundreds of years, meant the end of free speech, free assembly, a free press, free religious belief, free elections, and a free judiciary. Its more communistic versions have resulted in imprisonment, execution, starvation of tens of millions of human beings.
Yep, Stalin,
Look at the histories of Russia, China, Korea, Cuba, Cambodia, Vietnam, Ethiopia, and more recently, Venezuela. The list is long and it's horrifying. And right there in the history books, in black and white, for all to see. So what excuse do older, wiser members of the Democratic Party have for embracing such an inexorably disastrous course? They know the history. And so I say, in light of that, I think we have to adopt a more cynical view of their motives.
After she says this, we'll
So
put
I
this
premise
at the end.
here that their interest is not necessarily just equality and higher standards of living
We talk about
or the
equality,
betterment
equity.
of a free society, because we all know from the history books that that's not what you get.
Right. So why?
I would argue that their motive, at least in part, is the same motive that has propelled so many of the socialist drives of the past.
Power.
It's power and it's control.
All right, you shut this off. That's good.
Most parties,
So,
if you
I
think
think
about
this
it, when
is a
their
great
message
thing. People
fails
wanna,
to resonate with
watch
the
her
public,
stuff. You got to get her
when they
out. Yeah.
lose, say, a presidential.
Okay. So that's an interesting thing there. We were just talking about, electoral college and where we're going. And what I'm saying, Jeremy, is that once you start chipping away what the founding fathers put up, you're getting, I know you're saying that there's corruption and all of that. I understand that. And that's a different argument. And,
No,
and
'cause
that could be.
I was listening to what she was saying, and
right.
I still didn't feel sovereign.
No.
You
Yeah,
know?
but
and I was thinking about it. You see, like Biden with his Green New Deal, even his own party didn't like it.
No.
And so it was voted out. But then they go ahead and squeeze it into a spending bill and try to hide it in there. And that's what I'm saying. If we do truly, as people, have sovereignty, all of this is still allowed? No, man.
No,
We have
but
nothing.
but here's what you got to understand about that. I don't see where you're coming from, but you're confusing right now where we are right now.
Maybe I just have
But
a
think-
stronger
listen,
definition of the
let me-
word
let me-
sovereignty.
Let me give you some history.
Maybe that's
okay,
it.
no. Listen, back when you had the Depression, okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
10 years, this country was on the balls of their ass. Right? There was a newspaper, I think it was the New York Times or New York Post, said Franklin Delano Roosevelt for dictator. A lot of people in this country thought democracy was done. Had the same arguments we're talking about right now, Jeremy. I could bring up 100 articles back from but don't say it's important.
No, because by today's standards, that's nothing.
No, there was tons. A big part of this country thought that Hitler and Mussolini and the dictatorship model is where we should shift to. Yeah. They were talking about forgetting about our founding fathers.
Did they treat him like this country treated President Trump when he was in office?
A lot of people didn't like Roosevelt. I mean, he tried to pack the
I'm
court.
showing you the differences
but that's,
between
you're talking
then
about
and
how you talk. But there's differences, but they're also the same. They went after him.
A big deal back then to them.
No.
But by today's standards, that's nothing.
Listen. They was very. You go back to those people. They were living. They were dying.
Have you heard what they've been calling Trump since he was running?
Listen, you go
originally?
look. Okay, let me give you a little history. Go look at the papers and that John Adams and Thomas Jefferson wrote about each other. He called his wife a whore. They called each other despicable. They were fighting. I'll give you another one. Aaron Burr shot Hamilton. How do you think Hamilton died? They had a duel. He killed him. The Vice President of the United States killed, killed Hamilton.
Now you're talking. Bring back legalized duels.
So my point is, though, you're telling there's been with the things you think. You think things that they about Trump. There was other presidents, Andrew Jackson. They railroaded him out of here. They treated him like shit. They went after him. They tried to impeach him. No. But listen, they shot Lincoln in the head. How much? They did. Reagan got shot in the lung. So you got to think. You got to be careful. Put things.
With name calling compared to today, though.
No. Back in Roosevelt's time, people thought that the Depression, we were never going to see democracy. It wasn't working. We needed a dictator. You understand? So we've been down this road before. I'm just cautioning you. We could get out of this. I'm telling you, we could get out of this, and how we do it is by peaceful, getting involved in the politics. And that's a big part of it. We were sleeping at the wheel. Get involved. Become a Republican. Become a legislator in your state. Go for the. There's a thing called the project where you could become a legislator, a chairman committee, a committee chairman. Go out and vote when you have the midterm elections. We should have, like you make a good point. There should be everybody who could vote should go out and vote. Everybody. You still, when this last presidential election, you had 150 million people. There's 350 million people in this country. Yeah. I could see the babies can't vote.
How many of the votes were fake?
That's beyond that, though. You know what? Yeah. You know what? If you're right,
you said it. You said it best, right? When you just said that we have to. It's kind of like. I think I told you this in the car, or maybe I didn't. We as a people, we don't laugh at ourselves anymore. We take. We stayed asleep too long. I think you said something like that just now, and that's
there's a side picture of you, Jeremy.
Yeah. How you doing, guys? That's it. See, you and me, our end results are always the same. How we get there is different, and that's where we have a debate. But yeah, no, I 100% agree with how it should be. We should all be educating ourselves, being better citizens, like you brought up. The importance of being one at the beginning of our show. We need to educate ourselves, and we need to go out. And if there's a chance to peacefully, as we have on the board there, no violence.
All right, here it is.
Peaceful.
No violence. Take the scrubbing away. Look, on the bottom, no violence. But Jeremy, I tell you what, there's a lot of people who I talk to.
If we could do that, and we could actually make a change. Yeah, man, I'm on your side.
Listen,
there.
I have a lot of friends who say the country's done. I have friends who are Democrats, and I wouldn't call them, to the left. I mean, they say progressive socialists. They're not socialists. The ones. They're not. I would say they're like center left. And they believe in the Second Amendment and all that stuff. But they also have this feeling that it's done, and especially now they voted for Biden. And they're not coming back to me saying, "Hey, Mike, we were wrong."
No.
Or you know what they're saying to me though? You know what they're saying to me? I don't care anymore. It's done. Like they're like, I don't care. I'm retiring.
You did your damage. Well.
No. I'm not going to get in their face and say, well, you know what? You caused this problem.
Yeah.
Listen. They'll eventually get to. You know what they're going to do?
What?
I hope they're going to do. What? They're never going to say it to us, but when they go vote, in that and they close the curtain.
Yeah.
And they got between Trump and Hillary. They're going to pick Trump, and it loses their mind when they say Hillary. So now. Why do I say Hillary? Because everybody's like, no, she's not going to run. Okay, go to clip number 3. Put me up. Clip number 3.
Okay.
Clip number 3, and this is why I believe Hillary's going to run. Clip number, or she's going to. I think she's going to try.
Wait.
Clip number 3. There we go. Now read that. Can you read that?
Yeah. Matt Damon.
This is the Hill.
Jose Andres, Lin-Manuel Miranda. To speak at return of Clinton Global Initiative.
Yay!
Just when you thought you were sick of hearing about it.
Now, let me just give you a premise. The Global Initiative was basically Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton foundation where they took millions of dollars from people for their with their fund, their foundation. Now, there's allegations that it was a pay for play. I'm a pundit, but I read there's people out there saying they were basically taking money and for influence. Okay, and but here's the thing. So here they are. She looks good, doesn't she? She's ready to go, man. Yeah. So the Clinton Global Initiative is giving a star-studded boost to its first meeting since 2016. The reason why it shut down is because Trump won and she couldn't get any more money. Nobody would give her money because she wasn't powerful and she didn't have, with actor Matt Damon. I don't know why Matt Damon's involved. I thought he was a little bit, but I guess he's, going to the wake. He's going to the woke side. He's going over.
Man. You know what? Matt Damon can take a leap too.
So here, this was event was in September. At the 2-day event beginning September 19th. This was last year. So let me see, what date is this here? This is
22.
18, 22. Why are they saying September? That must be a typo.
No. That's where the photos
healthcare at the 2-day event. Lineup of famous will join the former President Clinton from Secretary of State and so this is coming up. Other prominent who are posted appear. This is people who are involved in this. New York Mayor Eric Adams. It goes on here. All these people here, and you guys could look at this. But this is why, and this is basically to make money to get her campaign going, and all these people are going to back her. Matt Damon, right, and Hollywood are going to back her, right? The left are going to back her.
Hollywood
okay,
can
she is a Marxist. I tell you, you look at her stuff. She is socialist out the butt, in my opinion. Her policies are socialist, communist policies, and I hope this country wakes up and starts looking at what she's doing. But this is where it's going. Okay, she is going to run. And that guy, he was, never got indicted. With all the stuff with that Epstein, all of that stuff. Right. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know here. And you know what? I will never watch never Matt Damon movie again. I don't watch any of these guys.
Matt Damon movies were stupid to begin with.
I don't care. I'm protesting. You know what I wouldn't watch?
You're no James Bond, buddy.
I'm not watching anything with. I don't listen to Bruce Springsteen anymore. And what's the other guy?
He gargles with razor blades.
Who's the who hates Trump?
Hates Trump.
Yeah, he did Godfather. Not Godfather. He did Casino. And
Al Pacino?
No, not the other guy. Not Al Pacino.
De Niro.
Yeah, I wouldn't. De Niro. I wouldn't watch. You know what? I wouldn't watch any of his movies, and that because I can't stomach that guy. Yeah. Because I believe, and this is what we believe in, and what she does. I believe in closed borders. I think immigration is important. My grandfather came over. I believe in sovereign state. I believe in the Constitution. We believe in energy dependency. All right. I believe that everybody, like Roosevelt said, everybody should have a car in the garage and 2 chickens in the pot. And right now, we don't have that. And that's another whole issue. But I just want to put a point here. This is why I keep saying Hillary is going to run. Right there. You don't need any more than that.
Muffin box.
Look, right there. There you go, man. You can put that out of there. Shut that down. So anyway, how much time we got, Jeremy? We're good. We're going to pack.
Yeah.
So listen, we went through a lot. Jeremy, I know with the Electoral College, we had a very, but that's good because a lot of people have that argument. And I just want to make sure that this is what I think we're headed towards, okay, in this country. I think we're headed towards, let's just say that the Republicans take over the House and Senate and you get the President of the United States and say it's, Trump or and I think it's going to be Trump, but it might be DeSantis.
That's true.
You're going to have states rebel. The states who don't want, who are very like New Jersey and California, and it's going to be interesting because what are they going to do? And you're going to see how powerful the states are, and they did that before, and it's going to have to shake out. We need to see what's going to happen with amendments and going forward, and I think that it's going to be an interesting time. I think we all have to calm down the rhetoric. This is my opinion. Stop talking about violence. Stop criticizing each other. We should go from a Christian standpoint, Stop this racism. There's this systemic racism. I don't see it. I work on a beach patrol. I work on a beach where we have so many diverse people. New Jersey has the most, I think there's 120 languages spoken in New Jersey. We get them all on our beach. We get Arabic, we get Chinese, we get, everything. And you know what? People get along. I mean, I see
Are there
a group.
race issues?
No, no. I mean, some people get pissed off because they're drinking, and I don't, I say you can't drink here, and they might call me something. But my point is, in the hospitals, different kind. Most of the doctors are non-white, and I don't see anybody bitching and complaining. I don't see it in my world. Maybe it's out there. There's always prejudice. We talked about that. You said, the other day, there's always going to be prejudice. Yeah. But my point is, going forward, I know you don't feel sovereign, and I feel sad for that. Yeah. But you are sovereign. The way the Constitution, you still, in writing and in the law, which is what we all believe in, which is the fundamental thing is what we have is a rule of law, and is the law is it applied equally? No. Do we have problems? That's maybe why you don't feel sovereign, because if you talk about Hillary Clinton and her emails and Biden and all of the things that he does, and then they go after Trump. This is why I don't feel sovereign. So yes, and then because then
that's why I think a lot of us don't.
Right,
yeah.
And that's a good point. I'll give you that. And then you say to yourself, you know what? I'm not sovereign because they're not following the rule of law. And I can tell you right now, Jeremy, I'm hoping to God that it's going to change in this next cycle of elections. It's going to change peacefully, and that they're going to have hearings, they're going to have indictments, and they're going to have people go to jail. Right. And they need to do that. If not, we're going to cascade into where people like you are going to feel disenfranchised. Yeah. And states are going to feel disenfranchised, and the states are going to say, you know what, we're done. Hey, let me ask you this: you talk about the FBI doing a raid on Mar-a-Lago, right? Mar-a-Lago, yeah. Now I just read that maybe there was stuff in there with having to do with Russian collusion, and Trump wanted to put all that out. Because that was all found to be bullshit, and the FBI
wanted to prove.
Right, it was called, I don't know, something Hurricane. It was that was the name of the code name for the thing, the project to go after him. Okay, but let's just say that it has been weaponized. There's been allegations that Barack Obama weaponized the IRS, and that now the FBI and CIA has been weaponized by this branch. But think about it. I read an article. What if? And this article was saying, what if the states, say like Florida, said, you know what, we're not going to allow an FBI agent on our soil. Yeah. We're not going to let an IRS agent. I mean, the states could start rebelling. And I'm not saying that they should, but my point is that we're in a very crazy time right now. And what I'm saying to everybody's got to calm down. Let's follow the rule of law. And this is why it's important that people get into the government now, legally and with a vote, and that we push them in and we vote them, and then that they start doing oversight and they start bringing people to justice. Because without the law and order and without justice, you know what you get? Anarchy. And I think there's people want anarchy. I think there's people want the United States to fail. I think there's people want us to fight each other. And we shouldn't do that. Think about the MAGA people. Think about every rally that Trump had. There was no violence there. And, it wasn't, this, what is it? The thing that happened in January, was it 6th? I mean, it wasn't, there's a lot of assholes there who did, stupid things. But my point is that most people are passive. Where I saw the big violence was all the Antifa burning down the United States. Yep. Yes, sir. So again, I understand where you come from, and you make a good point, Jeremy. Yeah. You really made a good point. I'm glad you brought that. You don't feel sovereign. I don't. And that's why you don't give a rat's, not a rat's ass, but you're like, no, I don't care about the electoral college because it doesn't matter.
If you're
sovereign,
that's sad. That's sad. If you're sovereign and nobody listens to you,
that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Is changing anything. Then how sovereign are you? That's how I feel. Yeah.
No. Now I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. And, it clicked in my brain. I'm like, holy shit, I was trying to make an argument. You know what? You make a good point. Actually, I got goosebumps on my neck. That's sad. And that's why I say to these people on the Democratic side, not the Antifa people, not the people who want to destroy this country. They're evil. And I can tell you what, they're big names. But the rank and file, the normal people in the Democratic Party who have families, who they're a little bit to the left, center left, I think are going down a bad road. Yeah. And and I really thought Bill Clinton was to the center left. He came in, He had a lot of rhetoric, but he was pretty good. I thought, other than,
As a president, I was a Democrat at the time, by the way.
Yeah,
but I liked Bill
right.
Clinton.
And I feel bad. I feel bad that he went after him for all those things, because I think he got he lost sight of the presidency, and we got into September 11th. But my point is that now the radical left has taken over, and this Antifa communist people, and what they want is anarchy. They want to destroy, break down, and get us to fight each other. The last thing we need to do is do that. We got to back off. We're all good. We got to come together.
Now, from a person in the street like me, right?
Yeah, right.
I can look at the left and I can point to them and say, now they're sovereign. They're making the choices. They're the ones that ignore what I feel and how I think.
Yeah.
It's just sad. I wish there was a way that this world we could come together more, like the Beatles sang about.
How about following Jesus Christ in his writings? But then people say, "Oh, you don't like homosexual."
No,
that's bullshit.
But you know what? When that thing happened in 2020, I won't say it. The first thing they took away from us was the church.
Well,
Now, they never made a big deal about telling people to go back in, How about we tell people?
Well,
the church is waiting for you. It never went anywhere.
Well, you got the Catholic Church, which is really off Richter scares now. I mean, listen, the Catholic Church wasn't...
It's politics everywhere, isn't it?
Catholic Church wasn't the best shining light during... with Hitler, And in fact, the Catholic Church facilitated... If you go look at... when a lot of Nazis got out of Germany, it was the Red Cross and the Catholic Church that brought a lot of them to to South America. But getting back with this thing to end this program today, the way we're going in this country, I could see where you don't feel like you have sovereignty. Now I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. And if you don't feel you have sovereignty, then the whole system is going to break down, and that's what they want. Yeah. They want you not to feel that you are anything. That you're worthless, that you're stupid, and they say it. They say it. They don't give a shit. But you know what? We still have the power, because we still have the Constitution. We still have the Bill of Rights. We still have state sovereignty. We still have it. We still be able to vote. It's not gone yet. And I think we got a long way to go. What we got to do is get out there and vote. Have our opinion. Don't get emotional. Get serious, but understand. The first thing is to understand what the problem is. Yeah. The problem is in this country is not racism. It's not. It's. I think the Chinese Communist Party has a tremendous amount of influence in this country, and I think this deep state, the administrative state, and there's a lot of good people there. Don't get me wrong. But it's an institution. It's a monster. It's grown too big and unwielding. And what happened is we don't have now the sovereignty to control that. Yeah. That's what your problem, and that's where the problem is. And what has to happen is that the judicial branch got to start weaning that down. The states got to wean it down. Yeah. The Congress got to take more power back. I believe it or not, I want Congress to have more power and take it out of the executive branch and the below
level
it.
Everything out. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even if Trump gets in or DeSantis, but here's the thing: the executive branch, the executor, didn't have a lot of control over the executive branch. He couldn't control anything, and a lot of them can't, and a lot of them don't want to, because it's like Schumer said: you go after the FBI, they got 10 ways to kill you, and so forth and so on. And so there might be people saying, Mike, you're so naive. You got to let the military do what they got to do. You got to let the FBI do what they. I don't want to ruin. Listen, the FBI is necessary and needed, and so is the IRS, and because there's But my point is that the power, you should feel sovereign. You should be able to say, you know what? If I think that things are not going well, I could vote these people out. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not. We don't want to be micromanaging the military or the FBI. We're not the expertise, but we want to put people in there who we feel comfortable, and then we want to see equal justice. Yeah. The whole thing is supposed to be blind, right? justice. She's blind.
justice, yeah.
And you know, I don't know, but the past 6, 7, 8 years, I mean,
I think she's looking right.
looking left. You mean?
Looking left. Sorry.
Looking left.
Yeah,
looking left.
left.
And that's not good. And hopefully we'll adjust it. Hopefully we'll adjust it, and we'll get back on track. And we'll have, you know, because you made a good point. You don't feel sovereign.
Yeah.
And the real question is, you don't feel it, but are you? And I'm telling you, you still are, but you are getting it. You do. I can understand why you don't feel as sovereign as you should, because the rule of law appears to be not equal.
It's similar to that feeling, like, you know, when people say, "Oh, if a tree falls in a forest and nobody's around to hear it, doesn't make a noise." Well, if I'm sovereign and I don't feel like it, am I really sovereign?
If you look at this bill that just got passed, you know, and I mean, I didn't look at it, but to me it looks like just a lot of payoff to a lot of special interest. It's not going to stop. It's and here's the thing: they call it inflation reduction. It's bullshit. It's not going to do that. All the Wharton bill school.
Well, because now we're living in a world where they can just make a new word,
right. But it's
to define inflation or recession or whatever.
The thing is that you know, you have in so many ills in this country. Last year, 110,000 people died of drug overdoses. You have suicide rates in children between 10 and 18 jumping up 20%. You know, you got the poor getting poorer. These super rich people, they're stinking rich. And you know, and I'm not a communist. I mean, I believe in again, and I want to leave you with this thing. I believe, and the founding fathers believed in equality. Listen to me, equality of opportunity. We talked about this, and we're losing that. What they're trying to do is push towards equality of outcome, which is equity. And to a certain point, it sounds great, but you need to have such a big government. So and then that big government becomes corrupt, unwielding, and we lose our sovereignty. And I think a lot of people on the left, not the Antifa people, but a lot of people on the left are good people. They want everybody to be happy, everybody kumbaya, everything to be good. But that socialism model has never worked. That's why I put Herstosalan in. They should look at it. It doesn't work. It breeds corruption. It breeds violence. Because when you have the boot on your neck, it's too late. Hitler tried it. He's going to run. Hitler was going to have a utopia. Mao, we're going to have utopia. Look at China right now.
If you want to talk about socialism or socialistic medicine, for instance.
Well, good luck on that.
Well, I mean, remember what I just told you about my mother?
Oh yeah, in England. Tell the audience.
Yeah, my mother who lives in England. You know, they have socialized medicine. She falls between two cars trying to get into hers, and she's not. You know, I mean, she's older now, you know, and all of that. So they call the ambulance. And you know how long it took? 4 hours. 4 hours to come. She's laying on the ground wedged between two cars. And it took the ambulance in England 4 hours to get to her.
Right.
All right. That's your socialized medicine. It's also when you've got like a heart murmur. Well, we can fit you in 3 months from now, you know?
Right.
I mean, that's what you're worrying about. That's what you got to worry about, you know, and you have to educate yourself about what is a socialized world. What's a country that's socialized, and how is it going to affect our everyday? And that's the everyday guy on the street feeling that.
Right.
You know?
Well, you know, if you look at, like I said, you just got to go look at the history books. You know, you had the killing fields of Cambodia. They killed 4 million people. Mao killed tens of millions of people, and they killed doctors, lawyers. You know, they had a agenda. My grandfather was a kulak, which is a peasant farmer in Russia, and he got out of there as a young boy. Him and his brother, they came to the United States. That was my father's father. But after he left, Stalin killed 2 million people. Right, 2 million of kulaks. You know, and this is communism. It doesn't work. It's bad. Look at Venezuela. It's one of the richest countries with oil, and they're desperate. It's not. I understand. We need to have.
And even this green new world they're trying to push everybody towards. Look at Sri Lanka. They embraced that green new world. Now they're having they're weekly. Like for week-long blackouts.
Yeah.
It's not. I think for that kind of thing, the technology isn't there yet. For everything else, we need to keep working.
All right. So I'm going to make a prediction, and I'll close with this.
Okay.
This country is going to take a dumper in the fall. It's going to get worse and worse.
Is that-
Inflation is going to get worse. Gas prices, it's going to be bad. And it's going to be a bad winter. I don't know what's going to happen with Taiwan and China. Hopefully they don't invade and we don't go into another war. This war in Russia looks like it's a stalemate. It's just sitting there with Ukraine. And so now we're in another war. Everything that Trump predicted is coming true.
Yep.
The only thing that hasn't happened, we had a pretty good crash of the stock market, and there's people saying it's going to go down to 25,000. So my point is, Jeremy, is that it's going to get worse, and how bad is it going to get before everybody starts saying we want Trump back? And that's what I'm saying. And Hillary is, she's preeming. She looks good. She's got the, nice hairdo, and she opened the foundation. Why would she do that? So
She
my
looks
point.
like she could be on a
So I
muffin
want to
box.
ask my colleagues, my friends out there. This is a rhetorical question for my people who are Democrats. If you're left with a choice between Hillary Clinton and Trump, who are you going to vote for?
Now that is a question. Yeah. I know who I'm voting for.
Yeah. So anyway, I just want to.
Can I mail that vote in right now? Is that it?
So, all right, Jeremy, listen. How about we'll play a little music here? Is there
Yeah.
anything? Why don't you talk about your show that you're going to be doing?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, 11 to 12, right here on the Kachmar network. We have Dr. Barbara Schneider is coming in to do her Radio Free with Radio Free America with Dr. Barbara Schneider, and where we talk about politics. Very heavy politics on
Heavier
Barb's
than this?
show.
I thought we were
Yeah.
pretty heavy today.
We were heavy today. Yeah, we were heavy today.
But I don't think we said anything where we could get thrown off the.
No, I don't think so
We,
either.
we can't. We can't talk about. We could talk about that. We can't talk the back. Oh, can't use that word either.
No.
We don't even say that.
No. That's why I said 2020.
Okay. Yeah. So what about Gabe? Is Gabe Jasper?
No, he's
okay,
racing this
okay.
weekend. Yeah.
So listen, everyone. I'm Dr. Michael Kachmar. I'm a board-certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon. Remember, and I'm on staff at multiple hospitals. If you want to give us a call, or get Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center.com. That's our webpage, Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center.com. My phone number, the email for us is, can you throw the email, Jeremy?
put it
The
back
email
up.
is drkachmar
the
at
email.
iCloud, let me get this again,
iCloud.com.
iCloud.com.
Yeah.
Right? drkachmar, iCloud.com. iCloud.com. And remember, we are pundits. This is our opinion. We don't, talk about violence, but we want to educate you. Our whole idea is to educate you. Jeremy, you always say, you start here and you go forward, right?
We're like a buffet. You take what you like and you move on, but you don't stop learning.
No,
Yeah.
we're just a start. Go and read some books. Read, Victor Davis Hanson, book on Dying Citizen. Stossel, John Yoo, it's called
Yeah.
Defender in Chief. Anyway,
And you know what? If you're not finding what you were hoping from here, educate, man. Get out there.
Yeah,
Read all
educate.
those books.
Educate.
Because you're gonna find where you
right,
belong.
right.
I promise
and
you.
go vote. Go vote.
Yeah,
go
go
vote. And get
vote.
involved in politics. Goodbye, everyone. Take care. Jeremy, finish us up.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone.